We have a series on our hand. 1-1 now sits the tide. So all of our predictions are wrong, except for Echo. He's the only one in the race on the desk right now. But we might be right about who wins this outcome. Obviously, Rascal Jester is most of our picks. Now, I want to talk about the pick and ban phase. Obviously, we had a lot of question marks around it in Game 1. Game 2, still bringing a few question marks. Dodge, I'm going to come to you first. Hecarim, first round pick. Why is no one doing it?
That's a good question, Jay Real. I wish I had a completely cogent answer for you. I can only sort of assume that Burning Core sees and sort of is aware of the fact that Hachimetra does not mind playing this Trundle pick. It's traditionally thought of as a pretty good answer into the Hecarim. You just sap him of all those stats as he enters, has no choice but to hard engage. It's the identity of the champion. So maybe they anticipated that the Trundle answer could have been there for RJ. The thing is, Hecarim on 12-5, tears through the clear, offers great ganks, still has pretty decent base damage before all the nerfs come through, and, can still be very tanky with the Chem Tank build or the Divine Sunderer build. So it's an interesting question why they're not picking it. It could be scrims, it could be the idea that it could be countered. It's not one that has a clear answer, but I would definitely like to see, especially if we get a side switch up going into Game 3, some renewed focus on the Hecarim, because it really feels like a missed opportunity for both these teams so far.
Definitely an interesting one. Obviously, Kaisar being picked up as well. Oh, sorry, Kaisar not being picked up into this Zeri, which you've talked about, Master Swan. I was actually going to bring up the Zaya, but you know what? I'm actually more interested. First pick, Ari. What's your feelings on that?
It's just an absolute sin. The fact is, Burning Core aren't punishing. So that's kind of to their credit in and of itself, right? Like at Burning Core, there are counter picks to Ari. I know she's meta now, but you can counter pick her. You have the opportunity. They're not punishing, and half the time they're just doing handshakes. So it's pretty weird that that's where it's going. It's working out well for the side of Rascal Jester, obviously, but it's a spot where I don't get it. Dice has a Champion Ocean. We've seen it throughout the split. It's I think he's tied with like second or third for like unique champion picks. So it's not a question if, it's more like a why, more from me. And to double down on the point that Dodge just set up, Hecarim has the second most highest presence rate in playoffs so far in the LJL, and we're just seeing him banned here, not even picked. I don't know what these two teams are doing.
And in the second phase, mind you.
I know, it's such a sin.
It's a big question mark. And the last one, Echo. Obviously, we talked about how important Ray Farkey is to this team, how much of a carry potential he needs to be. Renekton being locked in, was that a bit of a surprise for you?
It definitely was, and it confirmed my fears in a sense, because I was a little bit worried that Burning Core was definitely going to at least kind of give out that impression that they were a little bit overconfident after that first win, right? And so I feel like not only was the Gragas open, right, not picking it, but also blind picking the Renekton top, really felt like they were like, okay, game one, this really aggression style comp worked out really well. Let's do it again. Let's go even harder at it. We're gonna put Ray Farkey onto this onto him, and it just really didn't work out in the end, especially when you look at the team that he has to go into. We were talking about how if he doesn't get that early lead, he's going to be incredibly useless. Hell, even the chat was like goofing on him, and it's true. You look at the side of RJ, you have so many dashes coming out from Secret. You've got the Featherstorm from Soul, you've got the Ari with a million dashes, you've got the Pillar, you've got the canister, I don't even know what's calling them, the Flask coming out from Ino as well. So overall, it's just so many tools to keep Ray Farkey away from you. When he's already so far behind, he just kind of becomes useless in a sense.
We'll have to see if Burning Core's ashes can be reignited. Will they rise from it like a phoenix? We'll have to see in Game 3. But RMC, Kashka, take us into it.
Thank you very much, JReal. And, RMC, we are at 1-1. I think my feeling is that Rascal Jester are starting to feel more and more comfortable in this series.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, Game 1 was probably a bit of a surprise for the Jesters here, and it just comes down to playing a style that they're more comfortable, they're more familiar with here. And we've already said before, the Xayah Rakan bot lane is just so strong for Soul and Secret here. And while I was impressed with Soul, I know Master Swan was impressed with Secret. I think we can all be impressed with just generally how this bot lane plays when they've got comfort picks. It's up to Burning Core now, Kashka, to make some changes. And they played very different Game 1s and Game 2s. Even if they don't like the Renekton Nidoey, they could always fall back to what worked for them in game one.
Yeah, and I mean, you try the Renekton in Italy. I would like to see them just put that on a shelf for now. Or just put it on a shelf, right? Because they didn't play too much towards that top lane. And I don't really see a universe where Ino seeing those two picks isn't just going to pick a tank and become undiveable.
Pretty much, and not to mention for Ray Farkey too. I know this is the LJL. I know that Renekton now are sort of the bread and butter of this region for the top lanes. I'm not a fan of Renekton. I've never really been a fan of Renekton here. I understand that they blinded it, but it's Ray Farkey, man. The Gragas was open. Just pick the Gragas. Go with an AD jungler instead. I'm trying to remember if the Graves was banned, so Fullest could have gone to that. But yeah, the Nocturne was fine. You could have gone back to that here, and maybe just go back to the Hecarim. Flawless looks good on Hecarim in the regular season. Prio it a little bit higher here. There's no need to pick that Leona that early. There's no need to pick the Victor that early.
Yeah, Zeri, Leona, Victor, that is literally the first three picks from Burning Core all the time. I kind of also wonder if maybe we're going to see a swap of sides, since we have seen Burning Core take the blue side both games. And I'm going to be honest, first pick Zeri, you're not playing towards it. Like, do you really need it?
I wonder how much of it is Yuhi picking it so that he can play, and how much of it's just denying it away from Soul as well, because I do think Zeri is still very strong. And while Soul hasn't played a ton of Zeri in the regular season, Zeri was like a must-ban champion for most of the teams. So I'd kind of like to see Soul get his hands on it. And I'd kind of like to see Yuhi play the Xayah, because I think Yuhi had some really good games against the SoftBank Hawks on that Xayah pickup here. And now that we've seen Soul play it, well, I want to see Yuhi take it away. But you're right, Kashka. I would like to see Burning Core take Red side as well, because we mentioned it at the start of the day that both teams like to save counter pick for their top side here. And we've seen Ray Farkey have to blind twice now. It hasn't looked all that good. I would love to see Ray Farkey get the option to counter pick and really try and punish Ino here.
Yeah. And maybe finally Burning Core will also punish the RA pick if they are on the red side, and if that comes through on the blue side for Rascal Jester, because mid lane feels like the place that is ripe for exploitation if you're a Burning Core, but they're just not doing it.
Yeah.
And it's the same sides.
Oh, yeah. That's okay. So this is interesting too, because this means that Burning Core really feels like, hey, we're okay with the blue side here. We're relatively happy with not giving Ray Farkey counter pick, and we are seeing changes here in the bans. The Graves has been opened up by Rascal Jesters in favor of banning the Zeri, which surprises me a little bit considering that they seem to have an answer to it here. And Rakan being banned means Volibear's on the table here. We've been seeing jungle pinches all day long, Kashka. It feels like there's too many junglers, so Volibear, surely Rascal Jesters pick it up this round in the first rotation?
You hope so. First pick Leona, I don't mind that really here for Fujimoto. It is a really strong engaged support, especially when you get rid of the Rakan. You know, the answers start to slowly get limited. Let's see what Rascal Jester are gonna pick up. Don't do this. Don't do this.
Don't get baited, Kashka. This is the LJL. They troll us all the time. Okay. Jinx. Now that Zeri's been banned away here, Rascal Jester say, you know what? We think the best team fighter in the game outside of Zeri is Jinx. And I like this. I don't like the Senna. I do like the Tahm Kench, because right away, Tahm Kench Jinx is a pairing we've seen so much. It's such a safe defensive lane, and not just a safe defensive lane, but in team fights as well. It's going to be so hard to punish Soul on the Jinx.
Yeah, I mean, you're Burning Core right now, and you're really scratching your head. How on earth are you supposed to shut down this Jinx? What I was gonna say, what I would love to see is have another lane to play around. That does it. That does it. Blind pick Jace, not sure about that, but hey, it's a Jace pick.
I mean, this was the Jace pick that for Burning Core got banned against them multiple times by CGA here. So obviously they did their preparation. They know Ray Farkey can play this Jace at a very high level. They're willing to blind it. We see the Xayah picked up as well, and that was something I was calling for. That was something I really like Yuhi on. Now, keep in mind that Xayah doesn't exactly outrange the Jinx here. So if Burning Core is playing forward, Yuhi's going to struggle a little bit. But if they're playing backwards, they're playing defensively and playing around that poke from the Jace here, a lot of times those feathers can catch a Jinx by surprise from behind.
That is true, and Ari is going to be locked in on that R3 for Rascal Jester now. Well, they get to ban out counters if they want to. They do get rid of the Nidalee, so actually I feel like Rascal Jester might just say, yeah, we know you're not going to pick something that completely shuts down Ari, which might not be true. I'd love to see Burning Core do that, but you know, at least kind of they throw the gauntlet down for Burning Core to pick up.
Little bit, and it's not quite an R1 Ari like we've been seeing, but I feel like the R3 here, it's kind of the same situation. If you're not banning counter picks, if you're not trying to pinch that mid lane pool a little bit here, then for Rascal Jesters, the problem is that the issue for them hasn't been dice. It's been flawless. So that's why we constantly see these jungle picks being banned out here. Interesting that we see the Diana ban come out now, though. It wasn't banned the first 2 games, and I guess they see the Jace and they're like, okay, that's a potential flex pick. So we just need to ban out the AP jungler. So either way, it's not an ideal gank lane.
Yeah, I also feel like they want to get rid of Diana as an engage jungler here for Burning Core, since Ray Farkey has been playing either Disruption or something with an engage potential so far. If that's going to be Jay's top lane, well, you don't really have that much of a team fight setup here.
Yeah, and they don't necessarily need the team fight setup, right? Like, your Leona here could just be for the full up engage after you get all the poke down. And DICE did play the Jace in the CGA series, so that's why it is that very sort of strong flex pick. The Volibear that got through here, Kashka. I actually like Volibear in the current meta. I think he's a very strong early ganker, and at that level 6 he can kind of just brute force a lot of those ganks under the turrets with his ultimate here. So I do like it being picked up, but I do feel like if you're picking a Volibear here, you have to gank early, and Hachimecha has not been the most aggressive jungler this series.
Absolutely not in the past when he picked Renekton, and that worked. But now in this series, as you said, we are seeing a different Hachimecha, one that not really... Okay, you know what? Those are certainly champions in the game of League of Legends that Burning Core have locked in.
I absolutely love this right now, Kashka. Burning Core needed to make some big changes. And okay, the Lilius doesn't surprise me actually that much, because Flawless does play so many different types of champions. And we did say that, you know, we wanted to see an AP champion come through here. So Lilia makes sense here, kind of running out of options. I was actually thinking Karthus or Evelyn in my head, but Lilia just as strong with the team fights. But the Yone to come through here, and this I feel like is more of a DICE pick than it is a Ray Farkey pick. And Yone into Ari it's a very risky matchup. Ari does win out early, but eventually Yone hits the point where he can sort of one-shot that Ari here, and then it becomes that skill matchup. And we've not gotten to see DICE really pop off in this series so far. On the Victor Bolt games, you don't have that strong 1v1 potential. This time with the Yone, you certainly do.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see some fighting in the mid lane finally happening. It's been a farm fest of Victor versus Ari both games. Now, still an Ari for Rascal Jester, but as we said, that Yone pick for DICE. Together with Lilia, clearly Burning Core at the point where they're saying, you know, we reached further than we ever did in playoffs. We have, you know, we're kind of at the end of, you know, what people expect of us. Now they're pulling out the wild cards, and I'm excited.
Yeah, this is where we get really spicy. And we kind of didn't touch on the Malphite pick for Rascal Jesters here. Rascal Jesters, they are the opposite of spicy. They're going further and further back to their roots. You know, with that Malphite, this is a straight up front to back team composition, even more so than what we saw last game here. So I feel like the pressure's on Burning Core to make things happen early. If we hit that 25-minute mark, if we see Soul hit 2-item power spike here, it just feels like that's the inevitable lost time. That's when Rascal Jesters are just going to click their fingers, and then we're just going to see Burning Core disappear. So I want to see DICE, I want to see Ray Farkey really have some pop-off games take over in their lanes here.
And if we cast our minds back to the regular season games, the one game that Burning Core did take over Rascal Jester, it was on the top of Ray Farkey and DICE with spicy picks getting ahead in lane. So going back to what has worked in the past, I suppose, but we're going on to the Rift. Third game of this series. The score is 1 apiece, and Rascal Jester stacking for a counter invade.
That's actually really interesting that they're expecting an invade out of a Lilia here. Lilia as a jungler, she has been changed since the last time she was really meta. Back in the day when she was meta, I think it was back in early season 11 there, she was a late game jungler. She scales up and had really strong scalings. Now, from what I understand, from what I've seen from her more recently in season 12, is that her early game's decent. She's got a very fast clear and she can invade, but she doesn't want to duel early. Her scalings are still strong. So a lot of times this is what we see with the Lilias, because the early clear is fast. She'll often invade and go for those raptors here, but look at the position of RJ. They could collapse Rascal Jesters if they wanted here. And Hachimicha on this Volibear should win the 1v1 very handily.
Ooh. Yeah, but Flawless getting the big Raptor, hitting the level 2. Is he actually going to be able to take all of them?
Yeah.
No, Hachimicha. Okay, no, that one was just the ward. It does seem like Flawless is going to take all the Raptors and now bullying Hachimicha of this as well. Great start off to Burning Core.
This is absolutely massive because not only did Flawless just steal that away, Hachimicha did not get to take a buff off the bat, lost most of his health here, is chugging pots to regenerate that, and it's going to be a 3 buff. Hachimicha can't even counter invade effectively if Burning Core collapse. Burning Core, you need to collapse and prevent this.
Yeah, but they don't have bot lane priority is my biggest worry. Soul and Secret getting the early push into Yuhi and Fujimoto means that they will have the first move, and I want to praise Ray Farkey for being their level 1 to help Flawless steal, but Soul and Secret responding in kind, helping their jungler make this a bit more of an even match.
Yeah, and for all the priority that Soul and Secret had, DICE had it in the mid lane as well. Flawless could have just collapsed back immediately. They could have found Hachimicha, but as it stands, Hachimicha is going to hit level 2, is going to get pushed off, and Hachimicha has to be careful. If he takes too much damage here, Flawless could just re-invade and steal away Gromp, and Hachimicha can't do a darn thing about it. At that point, what does he get? He gets a red buff, he gets wolves, and he gets blue. So Hachimicha wisely backing off, still going to be very, very far behind Flawless though.
Yeah, good start for Flawless. A bit of shenanigans going on, but now the junglers clearing their respective sides of the map. If we're looking at the lanes, as I mentioned, Soul and Secret have the priority in the bot lane. Mid lane, kind of going back and forth. Recap now having the ability to walk in Force and Vision, but top lane, pretty much as expected. Jace into Malphite, you are lane bully.
Yeah, actually, Ray Farkey landing a lot of those shock blasts. You don't get the Malphite that low just by auto attacks a lot of times. I know, messing up a little bit. We're getting to see some hit-to-hit stats here, and as you can see, Ray Farkey tends to be the bigger carry of the team here. But one stat I would love to highlight is Ino's average deaths there, 0.7 per game in the playoffs so far. Ino tends not to die very often, but this series, we've seen plenty of ganks go down, and it feels like Burning Core have identified that, hey, I know it's hard to gank, but it's doable, and we need to do it to get Ray Farkey ahead so he can carry.
Yeah, but I know is that rock as you mentioned, and it's not going to be easy at all. Flawless keeping on the pressure onto Hachimicha, walking in, stealing some Raptors. You said that Lydia doesn't want to brawl, and it seems like Flawless is playing right at the edge, and DICE is going over the wall, does find a knock, and Hachimicha getting very low. And first blood picked up by DICE.
Well, we said that DICE can be hit or miss. This time, he's rolling all 6s right now, and this is what you love to see. When we first saw DICE come to the LJL here, we knew him for his Akali play, we knew him for his Yone Yasuo play, assassin-style champions, and he's gone back to this bread and butter. It's not just Hachimicha bleeding on the jungle anymore. If we see more of these kills come down, Recap is going to be the one screaming as well, because Ari is not going to be able to handle this Yone if he gets ahead.
Yeah, and DICE, beautiful play here. This is what we kind of wanted to see from Burning Core, what we highlighted coming into this series as their potential win avenue. Play through topside.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, Flawless, I mean, you're playing on the edge here. I know he's going to come down, and no, he's not even going to plan to disinvade. Flawless just smites it. This is cyberbullying. You're not allowed to do that, I'm pretty sure, or at least you shouldn't be allowed to do that.
Flawless is 1v2ing them behind the turret, and Ino was taunting while trying to recall. You are not allowed to do that when Flawless is this far ahead here. Oh my goodness, that just stopped.
No, it didn't.
Thank goodness for that. Right now, this reminds me of the Game 2 Nidalee early game where Flawless was just running train all over the map and no one could answer.
Yeah, the real question is that going to end in a better way? And to be fair, Flawless is playing around the stronger side of the map for Burning Core, which does mean Soul and Secret heavily in the bot lane, as anticipated as Hachimicha. Wait, no, it is DICE that's in a bad position. He is just going to get charmed up so incredibly low. It's going to go and kill Hachimicha. He's so low!
No way!
This comes in for the kill. He's now going to look for Recap. He's going to flash over this wall, and DICE, you are just a beauty.
Kashka, remember the win cons for Burning Core? Get Flawless and DICE online. We've not seen DICE online, but this game, Yeah, certainly doing that. I'm worried about this one. I don't know if they win this here.
Oh, wait, Dice, he's just going to loop around Secret, going for the Whistle Voyage a bit too far, and Recap, he will be waiting.
Oh,
Does
beautiful.
manage charm, down goes the Ignite from Secret, and this will be the kill onto the Yone. Well played by the duo of Rascal Jester. Flawless, still sticking around, but he can't continue the chase.
Okay, even there, Kashka, part of me expected Dice to somehow pull out a miracle, even without Flash, without out somehow to find a kill. And for Rascal Jester, sure, you did ultimately manage to kill Dice, but look at where the kill went over to. It went over to Secret, your support. That's not ideal. Do we really have to re-show this again? I mean, this is just kind of BS here, re-showing this. Dice just knowing his power spikes better, and Hachamicha, if anything, this just illustrates how far behind Hachamicha is at this point in the game. The Volibear is a strong early ganking jungler, and he's now 0-2. If he ganks mid, he dies. If he ganks top, I think he might die.
Yeah, and Burning Core have essentially starved Hachamicha out of this game. Just beautiful play around the jungle, and the only hope that Rascal Jester have as well. They kill Dice, that's one, but the bot lane. That's where we have to really focus for Rascal Jester as they are looking to come back into this game.
True. And for all that Rascal Jester is losing top and mid, their bot side is winning. The only issue is that they're not winning hard enough. You've got a bit of a CS lead, but Fujimoto and Yuhi, by surviving, they're doing their job.
Yeah, that being said, I'm going to connect onto Yuhi. Rocket coming down as well. This is good damage, but no kills. And it's going to be a few summoners at best that you're going to gain here.
Yeah.
And not even that.
Yeah, I was going to say, Yuhi Fujimoto just walked out perfectly fine. They did trade health for it, but they're still alive. And as I say that, Yuhi taking a whole bunch of poke. But if you can't convert and Rocket is down, it doesn't matter because Yuhi and Fujimoto's job isn't to win lane. It's to buy time. It's to draw attention away. And while you're focusing on that bot side, they're taking away Herald top side, and soon they can transition that towards that dragon as well here.
Yeah, and we haven't also talked about Brave Arky, but 70-42 CS playing the Jace matchup as God intended. And now with the Herald, I would not be surprised to see Flawless just drop it down in the top lane, get some more plays, or you can, you know, look for the dragon. Maybe though, with Rascal Jester having this much priority on the bot lane, I should expect them to be taking the first Drake.
If they get the gank off, maybe they can. And they
Yeah,
certainly
okay,
will.
that's the flash stun. It is going to be as easy as that. 4v2 in the bot lane. Rascal Jester get 2 kills. They're gonna get themselves the plays on. Ocean Dragon is up if they want to.
Yeah, then they really should, because there's no way to stop them here. Good roam down from Recap, and we said before, this is how Recap likes to play his RA, not so much for the lane, as we can see down in CS, but to just roam down and pick up opportunistic kills to apply the pressure. But if Recap keeps doing this, that gives Dice a free lane. 20 CS advantage for Dice, just off one singular roam here. Yes, you've evened up the gold, but let's not forget that Jinx is kind of countered by Yone. You pick champions like Yone and Yasuo to punish that back line, and as far ahead as Soul gets, you still need to keep him alive. And if Dice gets ahead, Dice is going to make it very hard for Soul to survive.
Well, that's true. We've got Secret. That is a Tam Kench, so you know, if you can keep Soul alive with that Devour, it's definitely going to make Dice's job difficult as well. So I think at the end of the day, it just comes down to how far ahead Dice can get.
Yeah, which side can carry harder, right? Is the Soul Secret bot lane win con better, or is the flawless Dice Korean connection going to be able to carry this one? For now, it looked like it was going to be flawless Dice, but they've managed to even it up for now, and Soul and Secret can continue to punish, continue to dive, and I want to see Hachamicha play to the strong bot side. Top side right now, you're losing everything. You can't even contest your jungle whatsoever, but bot side, you still have a chance.
Yeah, man, we've got Flawless over the wall with that Herald, just waiting for the right opportunity to drop it. Ray Farky push, go into the jungle, go back into the lane, beat the crap out of Ino, push again, and it's the standard game plan here for Burning Core, trying to further their lead, but Flawless maybe caught in the rotation. That is going to be the ult coming out from Nino, lilting Lullaby, putting him to sleep, but Hachamicha is zoning. Recap is coming down as well. Flawless in a lot of trouble. Ray Farky will be jumping in onto Ino, but I don't know if he can get the kill, and Burning Core half of extended in the top lane. Recap finding that charm, finding the damage, and the double kill as well.
Kashka Ray Farky screwed up! Oh man, we will get a replay of that, I'm sure, because that was absolutely critical. And now with that mistake there, Rascal Jesters are back into it. Top side, I know is going to continue struggling, but Recap now has 3 kills under his belt with the Dark Seal, and Dice is not going to be happy. All that advantage mid has been completely, utterly nullified. And remember, we said Soul and Secret with those kills are now really far ahead. Sure enough, Soul and Secret just bullied them out in 2v2. That's going to be free turret. Okay, watch Ray Farkey on this. We did get the replay. So I know I love this. Just instantly force. It burns the flash. Great. Lilting Lullaby comes in, and you can see Hachimecha just bodyguarding. But Ray Farkey hits everything on the minions there. Everything. If any of that had landed on Ino, kill. As it stands, though, Ino gets away. And Ray Farkey is screwed.
That is unfortunate. Well, we are going back to the mid lane. Dice not quite finding the kill onto Recap. The Herald is going to be dropped down. That is a mishap if you're a fan of Burning Core, at best. And you're really hoping they can try and come back. I mean, this Herald should be able to secure the tower. Most of the gold going over onto Flawless. So all things considered, gold lead stays even.
Yeah, and that's a critical first turret take as well, because otherwise Soul and Secret would have taken first break. Recap.
Yep, might be in some trouble. I was more looking at Dice as well with Secret and Hachimecha around, but Yone safe enough to slip away to safety.
Yeah, and this mid lane feels like it's going to be a very slippery one with a lot of trades back and forth. A lot of escapes. The Ari as well with that Spirit Rush is going to be down, so there is a window of opportunity for Dice to try, or maybe for Flawless to actually try and get a gank off, but that long lane right now is not favoring Recap here. Dice is about to take over, and Dice can just shove this lane mid constantly and start roaming up to that side lanes. I would love to see Dice try and punish Soul and Secret in this bot side a little bit more right now with the lead he has.
Yeah, but not going to do that. Just takes the recall. The turret in the bot lane goes the way of Soul and Secret. Excited. Soul is going to move forward, but Fujimoto and Yuki playing respectfully, playing backwards. It's all about that top side, bot side split, and, well, Recap is the big exception to this rule, but the mythics have been completed for Ray Farkey, and Dice and Flawless sits on the Zhonya's as well.
That's a really early Zhonya's from Flawless before even mythics come through, Kashka, but I kind of like it considering how squishy Flawless is, and we already saw that if that flash isn't up, that Malphite can absolutely pop this Lilia here. So I do like the pickup, and to me that also suggests that Burning Core might be starting to look for these team fights a little bit more. They want Paulus to be the one initiating, and then Zhonya's to set up for Dice, for Yuhi, for Fujimoto to really land more AoE spells and damage.
Indeed. Played Tower Gold going slightly the way of Burning Core, nothing too major. I mean, so far this series, I feel like early games have been about incremental advantages. It hasn't been about completely stomping your opposition, it's about finding where you have the footing in this game. And even despite Recap being 3-0-1, we still have Dice with the gold lead.
True, yeah, I mean, Dice has a massive CS advantage, right? Recap's got kills, so it's kind of balanced out. But then you look at this bot side, that's a 2k goalie. That's the biggest in the game right now. And Soul is an absolute beast, almost at that 2-item power spike. And we're about to hit 15 minutes right now, Kashka. And we've said before, Burning Core, if they're ahead, they win. If they're behind,
he's been hit by the center plate, but the Devourer is there. Flora is going to use that Zhonya's, and the Solar Flare comes down, but Fujimoto is low. And here comes Recap from the flank. The charm is going to strike. It's Marco! And he is dead. Rascal Jester, 2 kills in the mid lane. They're going to turn towards the dragon, and it seems like the Jinx Tamkinch comes out on top.
Yeah, look, that was why I was so happy when I saw that combo being picked up in draft here, Kashka. You could see how much they were able to nullify in terms of the aggression. And the moment they turn it around, they find Dice, they find Dragon. They're going to find mid-outer turret as well. Now, Ray Farkey did answer at least in that top side turret. So Burning Core is not out of it yet. That was a numbers disadvantage fight for themselves.
Yeah, now the Hextech Dragon is going to be picked up. It's a Mountain Soul, and I would like to... Okay, no, we're gonna go into the replay first to see exactly how this turned out. And yeah, Soul just doesn't seem to be bothered by it at all.
Yeah, no, and Fujimoto actually did really well holding that Solar Flare. You see it lands onto Soul. But because there's the Devour, because there's so much peel for Soul, Soul held the cleanse just as long here. So if Soul has all these options available, what can Burning Core really do? You almost need to have Ray Farkey there or Dice to try and dive that backline. If Ray Farkey and Dice don't immediately assassinate Soul at the beginning of fights, that's going to happen every time, Kashka.
Yeah, and my worry now is with the Soul, it's a mountain. Doesn't always tend to be the win condition, but when you are facing a Jace and a Lethality Zaya, that shield is gonna prove wonders.
DFM's got the funniest tweets. First was Ebby like tweeting about it, now it's like the coach comes be like,
I mean,
actually, can somebody check production? Can we actually find out what the LJL playoff rates is? Thank you.
alright, I think, well, we said it was picked up by DICE once. Not sure if that was the one game that Burning Core lost against Hawks. Maybe, maybe not. We are going to have the information soon enough. We also saw a bit of a skirmish down in the bot lane, just a trade of ultimates between the mid laners. The game kind of crawls to a stall right now. And you mentioned in draft that it is Burning Core that are playing against the clock. Rascal Jesters, they're absolutely fine with this.
Yeah, and for Rascal Jesters, again, they're happy to just farm up. They're waiting for Soul to hit that 2-item power spike. And we say that, okay, they've kind of gone back to farming, but it's also because Burning Core don't want to fight here. They're scared to fight after they lost that last fight. They need to get better positioning and better vision down. So Rascal Jesters are going to get the Herald completely for free. Well, I say for free, but actually DICE is likely to be able to punish this bot side. Nobody on Rascal Jesters is able to answer here, but that's going to change, Kashka. The more turrets go down, the further Burning Core are going to have to go to try and sneak away these side objectives. And for Rascal Jesters, they don't want to split push. They want to force you to team fight. So they're more than happy to just wait for dragons to spawn, wait for barons to spawn, and play around those instead.
Indeed, now a rotation up towards the top lane. Rascal Jester will be able to respond by taking this tier 1, and by dropping the Herald, they are forcing Burning Core to come up, because if they don't, that's going to be the tier 2 dead as well.
Yeah, they're just going to hard push this year, and it's not fair. It's not equal, Kashka. Like, Ray Farkey and DICE have to work so hard to take a turret. Rascal just take a Herald, and they just threaten 2 right away here. And for Burning Core, they're clearing this, but they can't I don't actually think they can defend this realistically. If Rascal just group up as 5 on that top side inner turret right now, their dive potential is so strong, and Soul did complete that second item. It was that Phantom Dancer, which he just picked up as well. So now you've got some more movement speed to dodge. You've got that lifeline shield as well. It's going to be harder for DICE and Ray Farkey to even try and assassinate you.
Yeah, with Secrets Devour and the Locket, I honestly don't know how Soul is going to die in those fights. I'm going to leave the creative work to the side of Burning Core to figure that one out between themselves, but it's not going to be easy, I can tell you that much.
Fair enough. And I do have confirmation, Kashka, that there's been one Jace played in the playoffs, and it was DICE, and it was a win. So,
okay,
not quite sure what Kazoo is referring to that, as he's thinking maybe Burning Core win, but at this point in the game, I don't know about that. Rascal Jesters are up 1,000 gold. They are looking strong, and when that mountain comes up in 1 minute here, I'm curious to see if Burning Core actually try and fight this, because I feel like if they mess up, they're gonna get wiped here.
yeah. But DICE finished the Infinity Edge. I mean, if you're looking for a strong point, especially when that Mirror Mana is going to take for a Farkey, you have to believe soon enough. It's your best chance for a while, Burning Core. Like, you gotta take it, you gotta execute it properly, but Soul just getting priority in the mid lane for free, and now Hachimecha is going to be looking for Fujimoto, does manage to find a stun. DICE coming in though. He goes in for the ultimate, only tags onto one. He's going to pop right back out, and I know, without the ultimate, Rascal Jester burned one of their main engages. They will need to try and play down the charm. It's going to fall, as that is a recap taking him down. Featherstone Force from Yuhi as well, and DICE gonna hop over the wall, does dodge away from the charm. He's looking for the backline. He kills Soul, and is going to be safe. Rascal Jester without the AD carry, how much can they really do? Fujimoto is going to keep looking for this fight. Recap is still alive. You have to watch out for the Ari, the charm. Gonna go wide, and oh my god, Burning Core, they want to get in, but they just can't find their way into this fight, it seems like.
Yeah, that DICE right now is what is holding Burning Core into this game. We said before, it's going to be about whether DICE and Flawless can find their way onto Soul. They did. Yuhi, though.
Yeah, and Ray Farkey is going to be the one that is knocked up. Yuki to somehow comes in from the pit. He takes the recap, goes in for the double kill as well, and Yuki still staying alive. The Yone is online. Soul is coming in from the base, but it's way too late for his team, and triple kill picked up by DICE. Burning Core, they're fighting, and they're as well.
Okay, Yuhi just got sniped by Soul on the back end there. My goodness, Dice. After the laning phase, Dice has been a little bit quiet. And I was already shocked and surprised enough when Dice killed Soul, because Soul had flash up, didn't burn it. Actually, yeah, this is where we get to see what happens to Soul here. And it looks good initially for Rascal Jesters, because Dice doesn't catch Soul on that Fate Sealed here. But the problem is what happens after this. They have no vision over the wall, and Soul is unfortunately a little bit out of position chasing here with that Get Excited. And look at just what happens with Dice. Soul has flash. Keep that in mind. This entire time, Soul has flash. Doesn't use it because he doesn't think Dice is going to put out that much damage. And the moment you go down, Rascal Jester should just disengage. I respect that Recap is trying to hold them here, but it's just so risky. Let Burning Core engage instead. But they don't. They go in, and Dice kind of gets to find them on the back end. Even if Rayfarky drops here, it doesn't matter, because Dice would still have found that triple kill.
Yeah, and well played by Burning Core. I think the question mark that is still left is what happens if you don't find a pick onto Soul. He didn't burn any summoners. The Devourer is going to be up every single team fight unless you're taking them very quickly, so this should not be repeatable in theory. And Jesus Christ, Dice.
Hey, if Dice can do it once, he can do it again, Cash. But that is disgusting. That amount of damage is he tripled Recap and Soul here. It is literally the Dice show for Burning Core right now. And even though it looks that way, I'd like to remind everybody, it's not like Rayfarky, Yuhi, and Flawless don't do damage at all, right? Like, as the game goes on, all of these guys are going to do a lot of damage. So,
yeah,
Rascal Jesters, it's a high-risk, high-reward for Burning Core, and Rascal Jesters have a lot to dodge around. And that's why I'm saying I think it's repeatable, because as good as Soul is, as good as Secret is here, if everybody's diving Soul, it just takes one of them to get through to swing the tides in the favor of Burning Core.
And before the previous fight and now, Dice picked up a whole death stance. He had no components before that fight. It's just a whole new item. He's level 15 as well. I believe he got the XP graphic that is 2 levels higher than anyone else in this game.
Jeez. The healing cut, I think, is going to be necessary for Rascal Jester soon enough. Is anybody picking it up here? No, they don't even have a single Bramble Vest. So it's really literally just can Soul out damage Dice at this point. And to be fair, we look at the Death Dance for Dice, but look at what Soul has in his inventory, right? Infinity Age. That really hurts. And with Jinx, it's not going to be just that one target. Those rockets are going to splash damage. So I'm ready to start seeing people drop incidentally just from the splash damage of these rockets.
Yeah, it's gonna be Soul versus Dice, essentially, in the team fights. Whoever dies first probably loses the fight, unless something crazy happens. The Mythic, now finally picked up by Flawless with that Leandris, is going to be able to contribute more towards those fights. But Rascal Jester walking in, cleaning out the vision, they're setting up for a potential Baron take here.
Yeah, and the other player we have to highlight for Rascal Jesters, especially if we do get into these sort of Baron dance situations, is Recap, right? The R is extremely strong as well here, so can definitely find picks. And okay, so thank you, production.
There's the follow-up.
Okay, 33% win rate. Who else has played it here? Well, 3 out of 9. Oh, since 2018. Okay, that's fair. But Burning Core, they have an idea, but they have no vision.
Alright, there is the teleport coming in from Rayfarky. Burning Core, they are going to have to commit Dice. Still not level 16. You want that rank 3 of Fate Seal, but you're not going to have the opportunity to ban. It's so low. It's going to be taken by Hachimecha. Burning Core, they're going to go in for push to the backside. Dice go in as well. A lot of people going golden, but Soul on the backside still basically untouched. And he's going to cut through Burning Core. It's going to be Recap picking up so many kills, and 4 members of Burning Core are going to fall down. It's only Dice left. And with that Baron buff, I don't suppose Dice can hold on for too long. He's going to be chased down by Hachimecha. There is the run, Dice. You want to run the hell away, but that is the stun, the slow stacking up as well. He's going to try and pull some shenanigans, but the ace is coming through for Rascal Jester.
They can they end on this? They actually might be able to end, because if Dice is down, even the rest of Burning Core come up, they can look to kill them. The only problem is they don't have the unstoppable force from Ino, so I don't know how aggressively they want to push this. They've already gotten the inhib. Dragon is spawning.
Yeah, it's going to be Inhibitor into that Dragon, putting themselves on the soul point. And this fight, it doesn't matter how looking good, how good it looks. If you don't get soul, you don't win.
True enough here. And look at the Baron health, by the way. 30 health. Hachamisha actually missmited a tad bit early there because everybody was coming in. But it doesn't matter. You secured. And more importantly, Rascal Jesters, we said before, if Burning Core is playing forward, it's hard for Yuhi to put out the damage. And Dice gets in, but couldn't reach Soul, has to get back out. The moment they fill the engage there, Burning Core lost the fight because Soul gets to free fire. Soul is untouched. And the moment Soul starts to get excited, he's just going to run everybody now. Now, Dragon was picked up as well while that replay was playing. So Rascal Jesters, they have a Baron buff, which they cracked the base with. In 5 minutes time, they get to force a fight for a Mountain Soul as well. And once again, Burning Core will have to engage into Rascal Jesters.
Yeah, and Dice is level 16 now, but he was unable to find his mark in that Baron fight. Gonna be fishing for a secret, does do quite some nice damage, but it's Rascal Jester's time. It's time for them to knock down the few remaining towers. They have the minion pressure in the mid lane. Will Burning Core hold on?
Rascal Jesters have to be a little bit careful with this here. Ino is not with the rest of the team yet, and so cannot be the one to step up here. If he gets hit by any CC, expect to see Dice dive right on in.
Yeah, Dice is gonna do some work on the side, but as the tier 2 taken down, and Soul is aggressing all the way back.
No!
Okay, he forces the flash. No rocket, unfortunately, that was used earlier on. But Burning Core, they're feeling the pressure from Rascal Jester. I don't know if they will be, how long they will be able to survive. Thankfully, the Baron buff about to run out.
Yeah, but this bot lane turret's health is also about to run out here. 10 seconds on this push, and Unstoppable Force is up and available here if they want to look for a dive. Dice?
Nice on the side, just looking for some damage. Salt Cleanse is down, but still he's got the Flash to Devour is available, and that costs you the Solar Flare, which... well, it's a trade. That's nothing wrong. There is no Cleanse. Devour comes out as well. Burning cooldowns from Burning Core, and they force Rascal Jesters to disengage.
Yeah, the moment Rascal Jesters failed to take that Baron, take that turret with the last breath.
No, Flawless, you can't go that for Fallen. Fujimoto finding the Zenith Blade as well. Secret going into the backside. That is the knockup as well. And Soul picks up the first kill. Dice going into the back line. He is chopped and taken out of the equation. Soul goes for the double. Soul goes for the triple. Give the man his Quadra, and Rascal Jester will take the win in the game 3. And they will put themselves at a match point.
If you have Burning Core right now, there's nothing funny about these Jesters whatsoever. Another one fight, and sure, Soul is popping off, but those charms from Recap here, like I said, I've criticized Recap's laning phase Ahri, but I do not question his mid to late game Ahri, and the charms this game, I think, were really what netted them a lot of these critical picks.
Yeah, and Rascal Jester take the win. Early game, we saw Burning Core execute their plan. They got Dice and Flawless ahead. I mean, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, what next? That seemed like the thing that the Burning Core were willing to throw down to win.
Agreed. It feels like their backs were up against the wall in this game, and it really wasn't. But now, it is. It's 2-1 in favor of Rascal Jesters. They just need one more win. And for Burning Core, they kind of all in on Dice, right? Dice was supposed to be the 1v9 carry, and sure enough, when you roll the dice, you get 6s sometimes, but you get 1s at others. And they rolled all their 6s in the early game, where it was nice, but it wasn't critical. And they rolled all the 1s in the late game, where it really did matter. So really rough to see from Burning Core. And yeah, they've got to pull yet another rabbit out of their hat.
They will, but we're gonna go to the break after that. The analyst desk will be there to break down this game. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back.
Hearing voices from afar. Join the madness when the curtain falls. Risk it all, hold nothing back. Seize the day, we must attack. Stars are rising, countless worlds colliding. Only one will take it all. We are the ones to ignite the darkest skies. The champions of a world that we defy. A solar ray of the few who rise up high. And we all
Welcome back to Burning Core, who are starting to crumble. I'm not going to lie, the embers are turning into smaller and smaller and smaller ashes, and we'll have to see if they can reignite themselves soon. But let's get the pick and ban onto the screen for a moment, because we talked about the pick and ban, we talked about some things that we'd like to see a little bit more of. This time, Dice playing a very heavy carry role in the Yone. Echo, were you happy with this performance?
No, I wasn't. The idea, I'll give them this. The ideas were there once again, right? It feels like every single round has been them kind of going like, okay, this whole aggressive, like take what we want sort of style, especially coming out from Flawless, has been working to an extent, but it doesn't work when you throw your carry under the bus, like as we saw at the start there. But I'm sure we'll get around to talking about that a bit more. But overall, I liked the idea of what I saw. I did not like the execution.
Yeah, and we saw a Malphite lock in pretty late. Obviously, a lot of AD there from the side of Burning Core. Must one, was this just kind of the icing on the cake for Russell just as comp?
I mean, front to back team fight. They drafted more standard. They finally picked an AD carry with high priority. It was fantastic to see. And they played really just standard. It was just nice to see RJ play standard. Yeah, the early game wasn't phenomenal from them. It was not what I expected from them, which still means there's room for growth. However, Burning Core have some soapium going. Hey, I Echo, don't get me wrong, mate. I think it's real. I think there's still some copium there. But other way, mate, other way.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. Right, so I think there's still some copium, right? But I don't think this kind of draft is really what they want to do. I want to see something more standard. Yuki on Aphelios. I think you can get a win that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Respectable. Infinite, you better watch what you say next. Now I'm looking at you.
Yeah, we are going to be going to
I'm threatening
Infinite
the whole
next.
desk now. I'm taking over.
We are going to be coming over to Infinite next, because we also saw the Lilia come through. Obviously, another bit of a different pick there from the side of Burning Core. Do you feel like this is where you want to see Flawless? Because obviously we talked about how pivotal he is going to be in these games.
Yeah, it goes back to the identity we've sort of been driving home all night, right? Which is you get Flawless on these AP, hard scaling, hard clearing champions, and he looks like a pretty good player. The problems sort of begin to pile up when you have these failed dive attempts, these overextensions. I mean, the early game actually looked really good. We saw the disruption of Hachimetra on the volley bear, taking it to him. Maybe a little bit more of Hachimetra faltering than Flawless necessarily excelling. But it's an identity path I like for Flawless as an individual player, but I don't think Burning Core, and this is sort of a narrative point we've also been touching back to occasionally, that we thought maybe was solved a little bit in game one. They're not exactly the most synergistic roster. It looks like sometimes they're pulling in different directions. They aren't on the same page about what they want to do. We look back to that failed engagement around the top side, where the Jace was flashing after a Malphite he couldn't see, with the Ari coming around to flank. And I think it kind of speaks to the fact that Burning Core maybe getting a little bit desperate and a little bit out of sorts from the peak that we did see them achieve in game one.
Yeah, they're definitely having a little bit of problem. We are going to play the first clip, though, because I want to come back to Echo. We talked about how Burning Core need to win the early game, and I feel like they've actually consistently performed really well in the earlier stages. And we are going to have that clip of basically Yone things occurring. What do you think is the key problem, though, between taking this early game to the later stages and winning more?
I just feel like it feels like they almost like get ahead of themselves. They're like, oh my god, like we got this right now. We can do whatever we want. Like, no, you need to still follow the game plan, right? You drafted a team like this. You can't leave it up to Dice alone, right? It's like he's gonna need some help, obviously, especially going up into these big tanks. Like you have the Malphite, right? You have the Volley Bear, you have the Tom Kench. It's like you drafted this comp for a reason. Let's actually play around it. And it's like Dice was like, hey, I'm doing my job. you guys need to pick up your slack, right? Because I mean, we're about to see it once he gets over this wall, right? He needs to obviously, just wait for the perfect opportunity while the rest of his team is kind of like stuck in like, what are we doing, And then they all start just dropping like flies, and Dice is like, well, here I go again, janitor on aisle 9, right? I got to do a little bit of cleanup here, and he grabs 2. He's looking to get 3, and then he finally finds, But it's just like at the start, this could have all been so much easier if we hadn't been abandoning our jungler in this top lane, right? We didn't send Ray Farky into these weird sort of like dives so far back that you can't even see your own base anymore.
Echo, the fact that they didn't play the poke game in that clip alone. Like, where was the
Yeah,
Jace poke? Where was
exactly,
the Xayah
exactly.
poke? Like, yeah.
Yeah, it definitely feels like a bit of a problem for them not playing to their win conditions. We have another clip that we're going to just roll in the background. Infinite Dodge, is this a Burning Core thing? Is them not playing to their win condition a thing? Are they causing problems for themselves? Or is this kind of they're getting flustered?
I mean, I think there's the mental aspect, the pressure. It was mentioned by Kashka and RMC going into this that their backs weren't against the wall, but it might have felt like they were, and now they definitely are. And maybe it sort of muddies up the comms, muddies up the confidence. Not that it did it for Dice. We saw Dice continually moving forward, finding a lot of big outplays on the Yone, but it wasn't enough in and of itself. And I think your win conditions are hard to achieve into this draft if you get far behind. Not to keep harping back on the early game aggressive plays that didn't work out for Burning Core, but once you give Soul some time to scale up and you have Secret on this Tom Kench secreting away, hey, look at that, I made a J-Real pun, secreting away the Jinx in the back line of these fights, gobbling her up and spitting her out where she can just free hit, it's a little bit too late to execute on anything. And it also goes back to what Swan said, which you have this Jace, you have these accelerated shock blasts that you can be chunking out these carries with, but instead you're sort of playing for this all-in style that you're not really achieving. So whether that's mental, whether it's a little bit of Rascal Jester just being the better team and playing around what they want to do, I think it's a bit of a pick your poison situation. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. But one thing that I know for sure is it's gonna have to change going into Game 4 if they want to stay alive in this series.
Yeah, Game 3, it was Burning Core looking for a sunny day with that solar flare, but it was Rascal Jesters that brought the storm. They look like an unstoppable and it might be Burning Core that fate is sealed, but we are going to be coming back after a short break. There will be more. Get ready for Game 4.